So it's that time once again for an updated 2018 NFL mock draft. This time it's a one-round edition. You can check out all 32 picks in the comment section below. Next go-round will probably be another one of those two-round editions, so you get a little more depth in terms of what I am thinking, or players, so on, so forth. When looking at this particular draft, I was a little bit kinder to the quarterbacks this time. I've got a total, I believe, of 5 of them going in round number 1. Starting with Lamar Jackson at number 1, the former Heisman Trophy winner from Louisville, going to the Cleveland Browns. Look, I'm assuming at this point in time, you're going to have a new head coach come 2018, a new front office, which will probably mean a new quarterback, especially if they're drafting number 1 overall. And who's it going to be? Well, when you look at the success in recent years of these athletic quarterbacks like the Cam Newtons of the world, the Russell Wilsons of the world, the Dak Prescotts of the world, the Deshaun Watsons of the world, it might make it a little bit easier for a guy like Lamar Jackson, who is absolutely special as a runner, who has a hose as an arm, who has, in my opinion, improved as a pocket passer, who still has some work to do, but can do a lot of big things. And if he can get the passing to match the running, you've got a truly special talent, like the type of talent that Mike Vick should have been, but ultimately was not fully fulfilled. The Cleveland Browns would be nuts to pass on him at number 1 overall. I know you'll hear about Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen and so on and so forth, but good Lord. When you look at the upside of what can be done, Lamar Jackson has the most upside of any quarterback in this draft not named Josh Allen from Wyoming. And it's probably equivalent. So for me, with the Browns, you've probably seen enough already from Deshaun Kaiser, unless something changes the last few games of the season, to say he's not going to be the long-term answer. And again, is a new coach, is a new front office going to be wanting to tie their future to Deshaun Kaiser? Probably not. So if they got the number 1 pick, they're probably looking at a quarterback. And right now, I would say Lamar Jackson. Who the hell knows? I've heard a lot of buzz about the Giants in recent weeks, looking very hard at the quarterbacks coming up in the 2018 draft, and honestly, they should be. Eli Manning's on the downside of his career, and he's getting ready to fall off the cliff. And the bottom line is he's just not very good anymore. And I understand there are other issues and other problems with the organization. I understand you just spent a 3rd-round pick on Davis Webb. But if you went into this draft and you felt like one of these guys, whether it's Darnold, Rosen, whoever the case might be, could be that guy, then you must take them even if they do not play for a season or two. They sit and learn behind Eli. For the Giants, from a long-term standpoint, they're the type of the organization, they need a star at the quarterback position in the biggest market in the country. Now, I've got Sam Darnold going, but again, it's hard to know at this point because you would assume, based off of the lost season the Giants have had, that Ben McAdoo's probably gone at the end of the year, and I wonder if Jerry Reese would stay. He might be gone too. So again, new coach, potentially new front office, typically means a new quarterback. And when you look at the future of the Giants organization, long term, you got to get that quarterback situation squared away. Even if you have Eli right now, let's call it as we see it. Eli Manning is a mediocre quarterback and declining quickly. Okay? I've got Josh Rosen going to Arizona at 12. I wonder if taking a young quarterback would revitalize Bruce Arians and get him to want to stay around, or if this is going to be his swan song as coach of the Cardinals. But the bottom line is this. Is the Cardinals, one way or another, must draft a quarterback in the first round of this draft. The fact they continue to go the veteran route, the retread route, with guys like Drew Stanton and Blaine Gabbert, when this is clearly their number 1 need because they cannot trust Carson Palmer to get through an entire season without getting hurt, the fact that they still haven't addressed having a young quarterback on the roster is just mind-blowing to me. It just speaks to a stubbornness of stupidity as much as anything else. Now, is Rosen the best fit for what a Bruce Arians would want to do on offense? I don't know. But they've got to take a quarterback here. Identify one of them, and even if you feel like you reach a little on them, you got to have confidence that you can cultivate a culture that will help them and develop the kid, because long-term, that's the best thing for this organization's future. They must find one. I've got Josh Allen going to Buffalo at 21, and I know there's going to be a lot of talk, especially early on in the year, that Josh Allen didn't light up the world going up against Oregon, going up against Iowa, and so forth, and that's absolutely true. There's also going to be the talk about how his supporting cast, without Tanner Gentry, without Jacob Hollister, has been significantly lessened for this season, and that is also true. what cannot be denied is that in terms of pure physical upside, when you talk about size, arm strength, mobility, the ability to make the special throws, nobody has that in greater combination or abundance in terms of potential in this draft than Josh Allen. And when you were looking at the quarterback position and you're looking for guys that could be that guy, you want as many toolsy guys as possible because you hope eventually enough of those tools help him to become that guy. And I still think there's a chance that Josh Allen ends up drafted in the top 5 or top 10. And when all is said and done, we'll see what happens. But for the Bills to get him at 21 would be pretty good work for them. I really feel that way. And then the Jaguars taking Baker Mayfield at 25, don't get me wrong, with him talking trash to Kansas in yesterday's game and grabbing his crotch and telling him to F you. It makes me almost want to put him at number 1 overall. But then you start to say, why are you trash-talking Kansas? They didn't shake your hand, so what? Just beat the brakes off them jokers. They don't matter. They are inconsequential. Like you said, you told them to stick to basketball. That's right. But they're not worth your trash talk. They're not worth the energy expended to crap on them. But the Jaguars in this particular case, the bottom line is Blake Bortles sucks. End of discussion. So I've got 5 quarterbacks going around number 1. You probably see like Saquon Barkley drop a little bit. That's as much just due to the circumstance of how this particular mock draft scenario played out. Right now, the way I look at it, the 3 best defensive players in this draft are Bradley Chubb, Derwin James, Minkah Fitzpatrick in some particular order. I'd expect those guys to be the first 3 defensive players taken based off the way things stand right now. I'm glad to see other people are coming on board with Bradley Chubb might be the best defensive player in this draft because I agree. But not a lot else to talk about at this point. You check out the mock draft and let me know what you think of the comments section below. I'll be back again in a couple of weeks with a 2-round version.